you say hold on? Okay, all right, hold on. Chief, hold on one second. All right, Chief, can you give us your name and title, sir?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yasser Bashir, and I'm an Assistant Chief with the Houston Police Department. And to my right, I have Assistant Chief Rogers with HISD. And to my left, I have Commander Rodriguez over South Gessner and Commander John Holliday over Major Assaults. And Commander Holliday's division will be the one who will be investigating this incident. We are still in the early stages of our investigation, but before I begin talking about the facts about what happened today, let me be perfectly clear that this shooting incident did not occur at any school or any HISD facility. Actually, it happened at an intersection near South Gessner and West Belfort. So let me walk you through of what happened today. Earlier, yesterday, there was a dispute between two juveniles, which led to what happened today. Today, at approximately 7:51 a.m. in the morning, we received a call from HISD dispatch. From HISD to our HPD dispatcher that there heard some gunshots around the Welch Middle School, which is located at 11500 South Gessner. Our officers arrived at this location at South Gessner and West Belfort within a minute, and immediately they started investigating and started putting the pieces together of what happened. As I stated earlier about a dispute that happened between two juveniles, so here's what they found out, that today that the suspect located the complainant. We don't know if there was an altercation or not. We're still trying to figure that part of the investigation, but we do know that the suspect began shooting at the complainant. The complainant was in fear of his life, and he takes off running toward westbound on West Belfort. At one point, the suspect ends up at the strip center right behind me at South Gessner and West Belfort and began to shoot at the complainant who was on the other side of the street. Meanwhile, unfortunately, there was an innocent bystander, innocent person who were traveling northbound on South Gessner, and their vehicle ended up getting hit by one of the stray bullets. The passenger, who was a 14-year-old juvenile, got struck on the right side of his body. Since then, he has been transported to Texas Medical Hospital, where he's expected to survive. So meanwhile, the complainant who was getting shot across the street, he runs into the Welch Middle School, because that's where he goes to school at, and he goes straight to the principal and advises them on what just happened. The school immediately, for safety reasons, goes on a lockdown. Our officers, they make their way from this location to the Welch Middle School, which is just maybe like 100 yards away, and locate the complainant, who was shaken up but was not injured, and they were able to bring it back to the original scene and begin to gather more additional information, about what is going on and what happened today. Meanwhile, we were still continuing on with the investigation, and we were able to locate the suspect's vehicle a short distance away. And that vehicle was reported stolen, and we have recovered the vehicle, and we're still processing that vehicle as well. So right now, what we have is we have recovered the vehicle, we have located the complainant, one complainant, and the other one who was struck is recovering at a hospital. The only thing we're looking for is a suspect. The suspect is a 14 to 16-year-old Hispanic male, and that's the only information we have right now. But if anybody has any information about this incident, or they were a witness, or know anything about the suspect, I highly encourage you to call our Major Assaults Division, and their phone number is 713-308-8800, or you may call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS, and you may be eligible for a reward up to $5,000. One more thing I want to mention is our officers are still here. They are looking at surveillance videos. They are still canvassing the area for additional witnesses. So we still are continuing on with our investigation. And one last thing is HISD. They are assisting us in locating that suspect to determine if he goes to any of our schools or facilities, so that way we can quickly identify him and bring him into custody. So at this moment, that's the information I have for this briefing, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
How long did the lockdown last?
It was very brief because as soon as our officers got there, we quickly identified our complainant, and he was the only person at the school.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, the 14-year-old who was in the vehicle who was shot is not a Welch student, but an HISD student somewhere. And the person who was being shot at initially is a Welch student and ran to Welch for safety.
That's correct.
Okay, so it does involve a Welch student, but the Welch student wasn't the one who was hit by the bullet.
That's correct.
All right. The school had to go on lockdown? Is that
Yes,
right?
for
Like, what happened with the school?
Once the complainant went inside the school, he informed the staff what happened. For safety reasons, they immediately went on lockdown. It was very short, brief, because the officer arrived to quickly identify who the complainant was, and they brought him back to the scene.
You'd have to get with HISD
Yes.
on the timeline.
Sure,
And then
sure.
yes, for more details, you may reach out to the HSD.
Obviously, speaking with the initial complainant now, you know now about this earlier incident. Good idea of who you're looking for as far as the suspect?
Yes, because they know each other, so we're trying to get the name and everything else, but that's still under investigation.
Is there any comment about the district's role in helping?
Chief Brashear has kind of basically said exactly what we did. We went into secure mode, not lockdown, secure mode. The school actually went into secure mode. Usually, typically that happens if there's actually gunshots in the area, so we would have done that anyways. It was very brief. Once we were able to release, we did, and there's a control release to parents right now. Students are safe.
Again, not lockdown, but
Secure mode.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And are all students leaving, or just the parents that want to get their students?
The parents that just want to come pick up their kids, but school is still going on.
And Chief, again, if I may.
First, I apologize. The word lockdown is secured.
I understand. No, no problem.
All right. So,
and looking over here, we've got the vehicle that was shot over here in the school, Prius. We've got this truck over here that was shot. Do we know or have an idea of how many shots were fired during this, incident that was right here on the corner?
there are multiple shots. Yes.
And do we know what type of weapon? Gun, handgun?
Yeah, rifle.
Rifle.
Yeah, 223.
Can you just talk about just the fact that this happened, right around that morning rush hour, kids coming to school, people going to work, just the dangers of this happening at that time of day?
I mean, this was totally should not have happened. Obviously, when you're discharging a firearm across the street, it's very dangerous, even to discharge a firearm. And unfortunately, we have one person who struck, and he's at the hospital recovering. But that's one of the reasons we want to get this suspect in custody as soon as possible, because of the actions he did today.
Sorry. We did also hear initially when we got here, the police substation is right down the street.
Yes.
And that officers, you mentioned, responded within a minute. Those
Right.
responding officers, talk a little bit about what they did once they saw that teen who was injured.
Commander Rodriguez, you want to comment on that?
Give us your name and your time.
Okay, so my name's
Sure.
my name's Adrian Rodriguez. I am the commander of the South Gessner Division, which is literally right down the block. Our officers were in the area and actually did hear the gunshots and immediately came to this location to figure out what exactly was going on. When they found out that the complainant ran into the middle school, the Welch Middle School, they immediately made their way over there and made the HISD police officers aware of what was occurring during that time. And like it was stated before, they went into secure mode at the school as a precaution, especially when you're hearing gunshots in the area. You just want to be as safe as possible. The kids were all never in any kind of danger, and we made sure that at least with HPD's presence, we wanted our presence to be known at the school for the parents to calm down with the situation that just occurred. But the scene is still being processed. We're still investigating all the pieces of the puzzle, and that's going to take a little bit of time. But I'm very confident that we're going to identify the suspect very soon. And my advice to that suspect, if he's watching, is to call and turn yourself in immediately, and we can definitely make sure that you're safe in turning yourself in.
It's my understanding that maybe the officers who first got here rendered first aid.
So one of my
is that right?
one of my officers did render first aid to the innocent bystander that was hit by the round that was shot. He did what he could to try to decrease the bleeding, and then he was secured into the fire department's ambulance and was transported to Texas Children's Medical Center, from what I understand. And he is in stable condition right now.
All that happened so very quickly.
Very quickly.
These guys didn't wait; they just responded.
Yes, I mean, quick thinking of our officers. Definitely kudos to Officer Corsiak, who's the one that actually was rendering that aid to the victim. He was very quick to try to stop the bleeding and did a very good job on that. So thanks to that officer.
Where was the bystander struck?
On the right side, he was a passenger driving northbound on South Gessner. So being a passenger, he was struck on the right side of his body somewhere.
Any other questions?
Any idea? I don't know if you can answer this question, but any idea of what that previous altercation was about, Chief Bashir? Are you able to kind of shed any light on what these two?
We're still looking into that. Yeah, and once we have that, we'd be more than happy to share it. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
We're good, Joe.